the Accessible Channel, making media accessible to everyone.
I'm Kelly MacDonald for Accessible Media on the set of Murdoch Mysteries. This 1890 series, placed in Toronto, is a fan favorite. Let's talk to some of the cast, starting with Yannick Bisson. Yannick, having the title role of Detective William Murdoch, does that bring some added responsibility? Obviously long days. What other pressure?
Yannick Bisson.
Being a lead in a series always comes with different responsibilities. There is a sort of a quarterback type of analogy that's often used, and I think it's a missed opportunity for some actors if they don't assume that and sort of know what's going on around them at all times to help facilitate, the production and to be able to get as much in a day, in any given shooting day as possible.
Yannick, with a few seasons down, what is a key memory for you?
If I had to pick any one thing, I would have to say that there's a scene where, without giving too much away, Murdoch is reintroduced to his sister after being separated from her for 20 years. And that episode sort of brought a lot of different things, and I thought that was a real highlight, and that's coming in season 4. But every year has definitely been great because I get to be here every day and welcome all these fantastic actors and have them I throw them the pitch and then they hit it out of the park. It's a lot of fun to watch all of our countries, several countries' best performers come in here and do these incredible, colorful characters.
You've had a hand in directing for the show. Is that your future?
Got a chance to direct this year, and that's definitely something that I want to keep doing in the future. I've always been aiming to do that. It's probably the most interesting aspect of production for me. I really enjoy it a lot, and I took to it probably a little bit better than I thought I would, so it was a pleasant surprise.
You've had the experience of working with Kevin Spacey, Rob Lowe, and so many great others. What's that like?
It's always a treat to work with actors that you've been watching as you grow up, as you grow older, and to meet them and to see how their approach varies from your own and other people you work with. Kevin Spacey was great to work with. I mean, he's very much present, very giving, and also very aware of everything that's going on around him, including fans and all of the aspects of production, but also everything that the other actors are doing. He's very, very versed in every line on the script, so you got to bring your A game.
Actors are being given direction on a bank set.
On set preparing for a scene, Johnny Harris, who plays Constable George Crabtree. As George Crabtree, you play a pretty straight-up serious character. Your history is with theater and stand-up comedy. How did you make the switch for the role?
Johnny Harris.
Well, I was involved. I went to theatre school and I did some drama, a lot of stage work in and around Newfoundland, and I did a one-man show that was a comedy show that was directed by Andy Jones of Codco fame, and that was sort of got me noticed as more of a comedian. And then I did some radio spots, some TV spots with excerpts from my show. And then at festivals like the Halifax Comedy Festival or the Just for Laughs in Montreal. And then as I did more of that sort of stuff, I started writing specifically for stand-up. And so I feel very fortunate now in that I'm able to do both. I do a bit of stand-up work and I do television work as well. And it's nice sort of being on a drama. I'm the comic relief, I guess, the goofy guy in the show, but I also get a few dramatic moments throughout the season, so it's nice to be able to have a hand in both of those things.
What was it like to work with Prime Minister Harper when he was on the set?
Oh, it was great, and he was total pro. He only had a couple of lines, but I thought he knocked him out pretty well. It's funny because a lot of people ask me that, and I don't really know what to say because it was just me and him in the scene, but I'm back onto him for the entirety of the scene. So I didn't really see what he was doing, but I heard him and it all sounded good. So it's sort of the only scenario in the world where I would have the upper hand as far as experience, as being on a television set. So I almost felt a bit nervous for him, but it all went pretty smooth, I thought.
Tough guy law enforcer, Inspector Brackenreid, Thomas Craig. As Inspector Brackenreid, you bring a very hard-edge character to the show. Is that anything like you?
Tom Craig.
I'm not very hard-edged in real life. I have trouble with my H's. No, I'm a bit of a pussycat, I think. I think somebody's got to have an edge in this, because Murdoch deals with everything with his wits rather than his brawn. And so my character brings a bit of muscle to it every now and again.
Let's talk about how you got casted for the show. You were in England at the time, and do I have it right? You didn't have to audition?
No, I didn't have to audition. I sent a showreel across from England to Canada and found out about a month after that the job was mine, which is quite unusual, not having met anybody or not knowing what the job was about or anything really.
Had you had any experience with Canada beforehand, or was this just totally alien?
I'd never been to Canada. I'd never even thought of coming to Canada. I'd been to Zimbabwe and seen the Victoria Falls, and I thought I'd done that, you know what I mean? So I never thought of Niagara Falls, and I've seen Niagara about 7 times now.
Back in England, you were involved in one of Canada's favorite and most beloved shows, Coronation Street. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was in Coronation Street for 2.5 years, from the back end of 2002 to March 2005. And we did know how big it was how big we were in Canada, because there was always Canadians turning up at the gates of Granada Studios in Manchester looking for tours, but they stopped the tours about 10 years ago. Since they went 5 episodes a week, they don't have time to take people around the set. But Canadians would still pitch up, so we did know.
Did that celebrity help you with getting a foothold here in Canada?
I'm not sure. I think our producer Christina, I think her background's British, and I think she watches Coronation Street. So when Murdoch started, I think I'd been dead in England 2 years, but only dead in Canada 9 months. So I was quite still high profile, I suppose.
And since you've been here, highlight working on the show or being here in Canada?
The whole experience has been a highlight, I mean, I miss my family and I miss England, but to work abroad and work with great people, I've worked with some great actors, the crew are brilliant. So it's been a really good experience all round.
Tom, tell us about your reaction when you first got the part.
Well, I thought at the first, Murdoch Mysteries, I'd never heard of it, so I thought I was quite excited, thought it was a new kind of job. And then they sent me the first script that I was to read, and it said episode 103. So I got all disappointed. I thought the series had been running for 5-6 years, so I was like, oh no. So when I finally got in touch with the office in Canada, I says, how long's the series been running? And the producer went, what do you mean? I says, well, it's episode 103. He went, no. He says, season 1, episode 3. So I was like, oh, well, pretty good then.
Well, I have to confess, when I was looking at the media stuff, I thought the same thing. I thought, wow, this numbering's off.
Yeah, we don't number them like that in England, you know what I mean?
Inspector Brackenreid, Thomas Craig, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
From a dimly lit jail cell.
Spending time on the set of Murdoch Mysteries. I'm Kelly MacDonald for Accessible Media.
The Accessible Channel, making media accessible to everyone.